Today was a state police investigator who testified about cell phone data tracking Brian Walsh's cell phone to that Abington apartment complex, as well as another trash site where investigators found on his belongings and many blood-stained items. Live in Dedham, Sarah Conji, WCVB News Center 5.
Sarah, thank you. And Sarah is in that courtroom every day that court is in session. Head to WCVB.com/Walsh for her live updates and to watch other key moments throughout the trial.
The bitter cold is knocking on our door. The wind is picking up. Temperatures are falling over the next few hours, making it feel like below zero in some spots. So grab those layers if you are heading out tonight, especially if you're joining us on The Common for Holiday Lights. We will take you there in just a short amount of time.
All right, but first let's focus on this dangerous cold. It is cold for this time of the year, but it's not going to last too long, the bitter cold.
Right, we're going to kind of warm things up a little bit for the weekend, and then we'll have another shot of cold air on Monday. But this is really kind of a cold pattern. And the other thing we have to watch tonight are these snow squalls that are out there. They're very isolated, but let me show you what's happening. That cold front is coming through, that leading edge is squeezing the moisture out of the atmosphere, and so we get these bursts of snow going on, which is why we have right now a snow squall warning. This goes out really basically for Essex County all the way up to Peabody. This goes until 5:30 tonight. This line is dropping its way to the south at about 30 miles an hour. So it's right in Newburyport right now. It'll be in Peabody very shortly. And if it can hold together, we get to Boston right around 6 o'clock. So we'll see if it does. Now, what you can expect is a quick burst of some snow. The wind will be very gusty, but it will only last just a few minutes. But the winds, they're just going to keep staying with us most of the rest of tonight. Out to the west, we still have a few snow squalls out there, but they're a little bit weaker in nature. And you can see the cold air already starting to work its way in. Pittsfield at 20 degrees, Manchester, New Hampshire at 28. And check out these winds, gusting to 46 in Orange right now, 40 in Worcester, and in Boston, still gusting to 39. So the wind is picking up, the temperatures are dropping, and overnight tonight, the wind chills will go into the single digits and down near zero. That's in Boston, which if that's happening in Boston, you know out over the snowfields, we're going below zero on the wind chill index. We'll talk more about the warm-up and any chances for some rain or snow this weekend. That coming up in a few moments. Ben and Erica?
All right, Mike, we'll see you then. Thank you. We are on top of multiple breaking news stories tonight. Years after pipe bombs were planted outside political party headquarters in Washington, D.C., the suspect is finally in custody.
Our political reporter, Sharman Takedi, is in the newsroom with what we're learning. Sharman.
Erica and Ben, tonight authorities are announcing 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. is responsible for planting those pipe bombs on the eve of the attack on the U.S. Capitol. It's been a 5-year-long manhunt. Doorbell camera video shows police arresting Cole outside his home in Woodbridge, Virginia. Right now, he's charged with an explosives offense. Surveillance video shows the suspect placing the bomb outside the DNC headquarters just blocks from the Capitol in 2021, the night before those January 6th riots. Those bombs didn't blow up, but the FBI found they were viable and could have killed someone.
Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work.
When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life.
Now, Justice Department officials alluded to a breakthrough in the case that included forensic evidence. At the time, the pipe bomb outside the DNC came within feet of then Vice President-elect Kamala Harris while she traveled through Washington. The suspect's grandmother tells ABC News their family is shocked, saying Cole is not politically active and doesn't normally travel to D.C. She described Cole as a kid at heart who wouldn't hurt or fly. Live in the newsroom, Sharman Takedi, WCVB News Center 5.
All right, Sharman, thank you. The Tufts student whose arrest in Somerville by ICE earlier this year was seen around the world returned to court today. She is now asking a judge for something that she says she needs to complete her studies. News Center 5's David Bieniek is live at the federal courthouse in Boston with us tonight. David, good evening.
Ben, good evening to you. The student says that the federal government is trying to retaliate against her for speaking out about the war in Gaza. She says not only by trying to deport her, but also by trying to erase her from an important database. Ramesa Oster left the federal courthouse in Boston while still waiting for an immigration judge to decide if she can stay in the U.S. In March, the Tufts student was walking down a street in Somerville when she was arrested by ICE.
For the first time as a scholar and as a woman, I have been denied my education.
Oster, who's from Turkey, says she believes she was targeted because she wrote an op-ed article supporting the people of Gaza. She spent 45 days in an ICE detention facility in Louisiana before being released on bail.
It is truly sad how much valuable knowledge is currently being lost here in the U.S. of fear with some of the academic community that they could be punished for their speech and beliefs.
Osterk has since resumed her graduate studies in child and human development at Tufts, but the government has removed her from a database for foreign students.
Ms. Osterk is essentially being treated as someone who is out of status and therefore can't work on her university campus.
Osterk is in her last year of study at Tufts. Her lawyers declined to say what she plans to do afterwards.
I feel now more connected to everyone whose education rights are denied.
There's no word yet on when the immigration judge will decide on her deportation. The judge who heard today's database issue says she'll make up her mind as soon as possible. Live in the Seaport, David Bieniek, WCVB, News Center 5.
David, thank you for that. A U.S. Navy admiral says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth did not give an order to kill survivors from an alleged boat strike. Senior military officials testified behind closed doors on Capitol Hill today. Lawmakers saw video from a September 2nd strike off the coast of Venezuela. Sources say two people were clinging to a boat after a first strike, and then a second one was launched. A Republican senator says a total of 4 strikes were carried out. International law says enemy combatants can only be killed if they pose a threat.
A crucial vote on hepatitis B vaccines for newborns has been delayed from today until tomorrow morning. Vaccine advisors from the CDC were set to vote on changing the guidance, but when it came time to vote, committee members expressed confusion about what they were actually voting on. One member said they had received multiple versions of the questions in the past few days. Also tonight, 5 Investigates had the only camera in the courtroom as a now retired Boston police detective faced a judge, this time as a defendant.
5 Investigates' Karen Anderson first told you about the drunk driving accusations against this detective more than a year ago. She joins us now with why it's taken so long to get here. Karen.
And Ben and Erica, this is a case of the Boston Police Department investigating one of their own, and it was nearly kept a secret.
I do not know of another case where the Commonwealth has indicted 4 misdemeanor charges with no felony.
An attorney for former Boston Police Detective Greg Walsh asking a judge to dismiss this unusual case before it even begins and spare him from having a criminal record.
That doesn't put this defendant in any position any different from anyone else who comes in and says, I'd rather not have this on my record.
The prosecutor objecting, saying Walsh should be treated like anyone else. But that's not how the case began. In October of last year, Walsh was involved in an early morning crash in East Boston. Boston police responded and wrote that Walsh appeared intoxicated, but they never performed field sobriety or breathalyzer tests. Instead, they drove him home. Last year, Walsh convinced a clerk magistrate that he should not be charged. But the Suffolk DA thought otherwise and brought the case to a grand jury, which last month indicted Walsh on 4 charges. Negligent operation of a motor vehicle, leaving the scene of a collision with property damage, OUI, and carrying a firearm while intoxicated.
It's kind of ironic that in a case where there has been some attention and some suggestion, at least, that at the clerk magistrate phase that somebody may have gotten different or preferential treatment, that the basis for the motion to dismiss is essentially that they didn't do anything enough or cite him at the time.
The motion is denied.
The judge agreed with the DA, allowing the case to go forward. Walsh pled not guilty to all 4 charges.
And Walsh retired last month, shortly before he was indicted. Boston police say there is still an open internal affairs investigation into the entire matter. In the newsroom, Karen Anderson, 5 Investigates.
All right, Karen, thank you. Now more breaking news. A 3rd arrest in connection with this street takeover in Boston that ended with that BPD cruiser on fire. Now Peter Eliopoulos joins us live in Boston tonight with this. Peter.
Hey, Ben, yeah, so Boston police just wrapped up a news conference a little while ago announcing the arrest of that suspect as a result of this 2-month-long investigation. Now, today, Boston police traveling to Norwalk, Connecticut, and arresting 19-year-old David Antonio Moran. He's accused of burning that Boston police cruiser, illegally possessing fireworks, and disturbing the peace. Police say he was one of more than 100 people who blocked traffic at Mass Ave and Tremont Street around 2:30 in the morning, setting off fireworks and clashing with police. Police say they looked at social media along with hours and hours of video to identify Moran and track him back to his home in Connecticut.
It was a very intense, painstaking investigation led by our auto theft unit and our fire investigation unit, pouring through hours and hours of body-worn camera from not only that incident, but from a couple of other street takeover incidents earlier in the night, both in Boston and outside of the city.
Now, 2 other suspects were arrested in the days following the October 5th takeovers, which also happened in Randolph as well. These incidences rose to national attention, drawing criticism from President Trump. Boston police say the investigation is still ongoing and there could be other developments. Now, Moran will face a judge tomorrow in Connecticut before he's brought up here to face a judge in Boston. We're live in Boston tonight. I'm Peter Leopoulos, WCVB News Center 5.
Thank you, Peter, for that. Divers and police were back in Newburyport searching the Merrimack River for a man believed to have fallen in yesterday. Crews, they're using sonar tools and what they're calling a recovery mission at this point. The initial search started yesterday around 8 in the morning. Witnesses say they saw the man clinging onto a skiff in the river, but rescuers only found the boat, not the man. His name has not been released. It is no secret that traffic in Boston is bad.
Yeah, with new numbers reveal just how much time we have spent sitting in bumper-to-bumper backups and how we stack up to the rest of the country. Mike?
And this could be slowing down some traffic this afternoon. We still have a snow squall warning out for about another 15 minutes, mostly for Essex County. I'll show you where that line is moving, and we'll talk about the spread of rain or snow this weekend.
Where the Citgo sign is going and when you can watch it move.
Tonight, Boston's brightest night. It's Holiday Lights, with performances by music legends the Pointer Sisters, a favorite from Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Nova Scotia's Matt Anderson and Maggie Andrew, the Handel and Haydn Society Youth Choruses, plus Santa flips the switch on Boston's official tree. Join Anthony Everett and Shayna Seymour for Holiday Lights, tonight at 7 on WCVB Channel 5. Sponsored by the City of Boston and the Province of Nova Scotia.
Tonight, tracking extreme cold, plus under fire, the boat strike killing survivors at the